This video episode, you're going to learn how to read data from a test file, but they are primitive data type. Right. So in the previous video, what we looked at was to read string input. But in this case, with the primitive data type, what we're going to look at reading typically looking at something like integer float double. Yes. Okay, so the other data type byte long and the like, you can look at it on your own. But the integer float double, they follow the same connotation in having to write constructs for them. Okay, so quickly now let's look into it. When you go to the test file, in the test file, the one we wrote earlier on, it wrote this data into this file and then printed it out. Now all of the input that we received here, they are all in the form of what? In the form of a string. Okay, so in the code you realize that what we use to display the string, to read the string, was the wrapper class dot next line. Okay, because it's a string. Now in the case where the file contains just numerical values, for example it is an integer, then means that it can no more be next line but next int, like we have been using the scanner class how it was. So quickly what we're going to do is to clean this data. Let's clean this. Let's wipe the file clean, and then let's enter, let's say, some numerical values, numbers, 3, 4, 5. I mentioned 4 at the end of that. All right, so 6, let's see, 22, 33. All right, that's okay. So let's save this. What we're going to try to do is in the code we try to read these numerical values. Okay. All right, so what to change in here? What to change is that now instead of having a string value, we're going to have an int. If it's an integer, then this should be next what? Next int instead of next line. Next line is to read a string input. Okay. We have a question mark here. Split into declaration and assignment. Replace explicit, which that is unnecessary. All right, so let's save this, and then so what is going to happen here is, still within of this while loop, the hashnet is going to perform the same functionality to check if you have gotten to the end of the file. It's going to determine the end of the file, and then on line 36 we are using we are receiving the input, and then we save that in, we store that in the variable data. On line 37 we're printing whatever was picked on that line, and then we print it out. Okay, so let's run this code and then see the output. It prints 3, 5, 4. Let's see if it's the same as it is in the test editor. Oops, but we have an additional string here. All right, it's the same reason why we have this input mismatch exception. Yes, that is true. A part of the block of code is writing a string. Okay, yes, that is correct. So it wrote hello John, blah 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 blah. It printed these ones out. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's comment this side of the code. Let's comment the side that is writing data, because it is writing strings. We could have passed on numerical values, but no problem. We just want to just maintain this. So let me clean off the string and then I'll save. Okay, so we go back again to the code. We are no more writing into the test editor anymore. We want to do away with this mismatch, input mismatch exception. Okay, because now we want to deal with just numerical values. Let's run this code again. Okay, voila, we don't want to have those errors. Okay, so we have been able to read numerical values on the um, from the test file. Okay, so this is the approach you use. All right, so let's assume also that the inputs were not integers but a float. Then it's going to have been what, a float, and because of that, this will change to next what, float. If this were to be double, then we change it to dot next what, double. I hope the concept is clear. If it were to be long or short or byte, then we change them to their respective data types also. So this is the approach you're going to use to read input from a given test file. Either it is a string or it is a primitive numerical data type, an integer, a float, or a double. This is the method that you're going to use to implement them. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like it, subscribe to the channel. If you have some questions, you can ask the questions in the comment panel. Thank you.